What is the best tourist attraction in the world? Why, that would be Darwin, Minnesota. I'll never forget my first visit. At 7:37 early Wednesday evening, as the sun was setting in the Minnesota sky, out in the distance, on the horizon, it appeared to me like a vision before my unbelieving eyes. I parked the car and walked with awe-filled reverence toward that glorious, huge, majestic sphere. I was just so overwhelmed by its sheer immensity I had to pop myself a beer. Yes, on these hallowed grounds, open 10 to 8 on weekdays, in a little shrine, under a makeshift pagoda ... sits the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota, Japan during sakura season, cherry blossom season. I've been twice now, and it was fantastic both times. Best part is that the cherry trees are quite literally everywhere, so you don't have to fight with a million other tourists and locals in a popular spot to get a good look at them. Those spots do exist, and they can get crowded at times. But you can be walking down a random back street and suddenly there will be a sakura tree in full bloom, and it'll look fantastic. Only downside is the prices of flights and hotels do spike during the 2 or so weeks the sakura is in bloom. It's got to be the human race itself, from the bustling streets of New York City to the serene landscapes of Kyoto. Every corner of the globe offers a unique glimpse into the rich tapestry of humanity. Whether you're marveling at ancient wonders like the pyramids of Giza, or indulging in modern marvels like the Eiffel Tower, the real magic lies in the people you meet and the stories they share. So, pack your bags, grab your passport, and get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. Because the world is waiting to be explored. Michelangelo's David at the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, Italy. There is so much stuff in Italy rightfully on this list. But I was in absolute awe of the David. I seriously stood there slack-jawed, unable to move for about 30 minutes. As far as art goes, I love paintings but have never been much of a sculpture guy. But the David is so much more than a sculpture, it is a triumph of the human spirit. Disneyland and Disney World, as commercially designed experiences specifically for tourists, drawing significant numbers of them from all over the world, and remaining popular consistently for a very long time. The infrastructure developed in and around those places for tourists is huge. They literally define tourist attraction. Antelope Canyon on the Navajo Race. I had the opportunity to talk to one of the grandsons of the man who has grazing rights to the land, basically ownership. And he said they took in over $500,000 the previous year. This was in 2012. So who knows how much they take in now. To take pictures of a 200-meter long slot canyon. The Tower of London for me, if not the best. It's definitely one of the most interesting places in the Western world. Almost 1,000 years old, yet plonked in the center of modern London. Sprawling and mostly intact, and host to some of the most important events in English history. It is a fascinating day out. And with tourist attraction, I don't mean hidden gems or places only locals know. I mean true blue touristy stuff. So either stuff that naturally became popular and now has proper tourist infrastructure built around it, or things that have been conceived and built specifically for tourists. Honest answer: it's Tsukishima Shrine on Miyajima, Japan. Everything about that place was legit beautiful. From the small town you walk through to get there, to the Torii Gate, to the main shrine. Go there during high tide on a sunny day. I was so happy I was able to knock it off my bucket list. To see a good photo of Grandma and Mom and her kids by the sea. I don't think any mountain, or hill, or even any man-made structures can compete. It can be a tropical getaway, or a ruthless beast. Either way, everyone loves seafood. Everyone loves a sunset sunrise over the ocean. Based on OP's infrastructure comment, I can't believe nobody has said Disney World yet. It has roads and bus routes and monorails and tunnels and ferry boats and hotels and campgrounds. Oh, and also for amusement parks and a large shopping, dining, entertainment complex. I thought Rome was pretty unbelievable, The Vatican is insanely historic huge. The ceiling of the Sistine Chapel was unbelievable. Drinking a beer sitting in front of thousands-of-year-old buildings Pantheon was surreal. The tattered Colosseum etc. Machu Picchu hands down. And the whole sacred valley of the Incas. I mean, Europe is great. But if you want to see true integration between cities and nature, the Inca Valley including Machu Picchu is the place to go. Probably Sagrada Familia in Barcelona and Spain in general. The last resort for a true European safe and fun visit for everyone. I also recommend Kyoto Gin neighborhood. These are tourist attractions. Washington, D.C. more specifically the National Mall. Lots of free museums. History. Walking and biking. Subway system metro. Monuments that are photograph-worthy, etc. I think one of the most interesting lesser-known attractions is the Coral Castle. The entire story of how it was built is fascinating until this day a complete mystery. For me, it's the Vatican City. I'm not Catholic, or even religious, but the history, art and architecture within the Vatican walls is absolutely astounding. Sistine Chapel was amazing. Alhambra on the Spanish coast is worth a visit. I'm pretty sure there is no best. You can't really compare these attractions. Windsor Castle and the Tower of London both offer really good days out with lots to see. Skip Buckingham Palace and go to either of those instead. The California Redwoods, followed closely by Victoria Falls. Both were absolutely stunning, and you could spend hours just walking around in wonder. Giant redwoods in central California and the fjords of Norway. Also, Old Town Praha before the hordes of tourists arrived in the 2000s. Best is subjective, but the most successful are probably Giza pyramids in Egypt. They've been attracting tourists for over 4,000 years. Sagrada Familia took my breath away. The way the lights hit the stained glass when you're inside is unlike anything I have ever seen. Pompeii. It's quite eerie visiting, because the volcano is right there and still active. It's also huge, like the size of Croydon. Universal Studios Florida, my favorite place. Don't eat too much sugar, there will make you miserable. The Great Wall of China really is a great wall. I saw it a long time ago. Apparently there's a lot of crowds now. This is a tough one. But in terms of never get tired of looking at it, I would say the Sydney Opera House, passing through to continent from under the sea Asia to Europe, or opposite via Avrassia Tunnel in Istanbul. Best is subjective. But I would have to argue the Colosseum in Rome. If it's not the best, it's top 3. The pyramids in Cairo. The sheer size of the blocks that had to be moved in place is mind-boggling. Honestly, any Disney park. There's a reason why they bring in $30 billion for Disney every year. The Loon Fiesta in Albuquerque is pretty great, definitely worth seeing in your lifetime. Machu Picchu, but more specifically hiking to get there. Most incredible experience. Chernobyl was an experience, but I doubt you'll be allowed to go there again now. Alcatraz, the audio tour of former guards and residents really makes it. Rome or Paris in my opinion. But I guess most of European countries. Great Pyramid, it's been around for a bit. OG wonder of the world. Honestly, I was blown away by the ancient city of Petra in Jordan. Cemeteries. There will always be at least one person going to them. Probably my house. Not very interesting if I do say so myself. The palace and grounds of Versailles are the best I've seen. Has got to be your own bet after a long day of sightseeing.